Alright, hey out there football fans. In this video I'm talking about my week 1 and week 2 power rankings for NFL. Regarding week 1, the way I looked at it is my bottom 8 teams. Those are teams that have more answers and questions regarding their roster or their team, or maybe it's a new era kind of thing. After that, my next 8, which would be your 17 to 24, those teams have either limited rosters or maybe some kind of question that affects overall offense, therefore maybe an uncertain quarterback. Limited weapons, limited defense, certain skill position, defensively, offensively, that's really holding the team back, or like an offensive line issue. Then we go from 16 all the way to 9. Those are my teams that either I view as teams that might be in the playoffs last year, is going to take a regression, potential regression. Teams that are potential sleepers that might sneak into the playoffs, or your teams that, or potentially a team that is going to make a progression this offseason because of some of the rosters moves they made, but I don't view them as all certain contender in the NFL. So that's probably your wild card kind of teams. Top 8, those are my contenders, teams I believe are going to make the playoffs. That's how I viewed my week 1. Going to week 2, again, bottom 8 teams that week 1 they looked that impressive. Then the next 24-16 might be a team that took a tough loss this week. Didn't look good offensively or defensively. Or a team that might have won, but I still have a lot of questions about their roster. Again, 9-16. Those are kind of teams that moved up from lower rankings based on how they played this week. Last week, how I kind of expected to move. And then top 8, some movement down from contenders if they lost, or some movement up from people that are either sleepers up to the top 8, or just movement from the top 8 of maybe I view one team as better than others. I'm going to do my best kind of only to focus on the top 8 regarding my power rankings, because I believe it's kind of minute to talk about all 32 teams, especially when you could quickly talk about them certain keyways like I just did. So that being said, my top 8 teams of week 1, saw us before any game was played, had the Ravens at 1, Lions at 2, 49ers at 3, Eagles at 4, Chiefs at 5, Jets at 6, then Browns at 7, Dolphins at 8. So Dolphins, contenders, team I kind of see taking potential regression. Injuries on the defensive line, still not the greatest offensive line in my opinion, but got speed and skill positions, and decent secondary. And overall, I think still a pretty good defense to potentially be great when fully healthy. They lost a lot of their edge rushers last year to injuries that are coming back. So I view them. 7, Browns. This is a roster that I think top to bottom is hands down great. Offensive, defensively, obviously they had injuries to their tackles positions week 1, which I didn't know about. And then the biggest question here is simply Deshaun Watson. I had that before the week 1 game. I'm not gonna put so much on him in week 1 because it was the missing tackles, but again, their quarterback's gonna determine how good this team is. I think that, Chubb coming back from injury, I think overall this is a great roster, offensively, defensively. Jets. Another one that I think defensively last year played phenomenal. If they had a serviceable quarterback last year, they were stuck in the playoffs like I had them making the playoffs last year, which they didn't do. So I think same way. Rodgers is back now. I think offensively they got a little bit better. Still a bit of questions with how complete the offensive line could be, as it's more of an older veteran group. Can he stay healthy? Same thing. Can he keep Rodgers upright and healthy? And then defensively, not the best performance week 1, but I still believe in this defense. Obviously still missing Hassan Reddick with the contract issue, but I viewed them as a potential contender. But I did take them back in my week 2 rankings. Kansas City, European champions. Probably had them lower than you should have been, to be honest with you. I just think these other rosters above them are better, offensively, defensively. Eagles did a great job of the offseason movements by Howie Roseman in the offseason. 49ers, still there, some contract issues. He got taken care of before the week 1 game, so I had him at 4. Detroit Lions, offensive defensively, I still think there's room for progression here. So I had them above the 49ers. And then Baltimore, I think, has a very good offensive, defensive roster. And then coaching-wise, I kind of put him, John Harbaugh, above the rest. Dan Campbell, Kyle Shanahan, and then Nick Sirianni. So now it's about week 2. Kansas City jumped up for 5-1 for me. 2, San Francisco went from 3-2. Detroit went down from 2-3. Philadelphia stayed at 4. Baltimore down from 1-5. Dallas, I don't know where they were. I had them somewhere in my 9-16 range, but they move up to number 6. Miami move up 1 spot to 7. And then Houston moves up to 8. I think I had Houston like 9. So that being said, teams that came out of my top 8, obviously New York Jets, Cleveland Browns. Jets took a tough loss to San Francisco. The one thing I would say, as good defensively as I thought they were, for them to take that much of a backseat and get that dominant in the running game when it wasn't Christian McCaffrey kind of shocked me, but also shows me how good the San Francisco 49ers offensive scheme is. I knew the defense was good, so not shocked that the offense struggled for the Jets because I had a lot more questions about them offensively, but still, that dominant running game kind of shocked me against a dominant Jet defense. And in Cleveland, like I said, tackles were out, so I'm going to give them some leeway. But still, they didn't look good offensively, and they got dominated by Dallas, which I didn't have. I actually had Cleveland with the upset, which I view as an upset, even though it wasn't. They were favoring that game, but they got dominated. I didn't see that coming. So then, kind of talk very briefly. Kansas City looked phenomenal against the Ravens, which was overall great games. That's why I didn't move the Ravens down too much. Thought that was a good loss for them. If can't view anything as a good loss, but I thought that was a competitive loss for them. I think Kansas City even defend champions. You have to give them credit, give them the #1 spot. San Francisco, like I said, looked dominant both sides of the ball. Them and Kansas City, I thought looked kind of dominant both sides of the ball. Kansas City kind of shocked me because just newer weapons as part of the offense, but they looked dominant, especially Worthy, the rookie. So I put them at the top 2 spots. Detroit looked a little down. Like, didn't Miami looked a little bit down in their games? Jaguars were up for a bit. Rams were up for a bit, but they both came back and won the game. So I kept them kind of in their spots for that, but they did show some signs of weaknesses. Philadelphia, Green Bay was a competitive game. Offensively, didn't look the best. Defensively, some flaws and lost assignment stuff that both ways. So I kept them at 4 because I think this roster is still very good. I just think it's going to take them a while to get all together and gel together. Dallas, dominant win. Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb's contracts got taken care of, and they both took care of business week 1. With the cornerback players still being out in that secondary, I was kind of very impressed how dominant they were against the Browns. And then Houston, again, Indianapolis was kind of competitive with them, but they got the job done, so I moved them up 1. So again, those are my top 8 teams, a little bit explaining why. Again, I have all my rankings for week 1 and week 2 in my description of the video. That's kind of a little bit of my breakdown for week 1, week 2, my power rankings. Hope everyone have a great day, enjoy your week. Stay tuned to more NFL sports talk.